Good morning, everyone, and welcome to First Church Unitarian service here on Mother's Day Sunday. I just wanted to start by sharing something interesting I learned about Mother's Day, just from something I read yesterday. Many of you probably know that there was the first Mother's Day was established by Julia Ward Howe as a day for mothers to work for peace, while the second one was established about 40 years later by Anna Jarvis as a day to celebrate our individual mothers. What I learned was the second one has the apostrophe after mother, and the first one for all mothers has the apostrophe after S. So there's your Mother's Day trivia for today. I call your attention to a number of announcements in our community matters, including a couple of or several important upcoming events. But first, some other items in there you can check out. There are several great ideas for kids and families that Vicki Merriam has posted in Community Matters, so check that out. Next Sunday will be our May Share the Plate. This month's recipient is A Well-Fed World, and we will learn more about that organization next week. I'll just alert you again to have your credit cards ready. The best way to donate is online, and more about that also. I especially want to bring your attention to information about our virtual annual meeting that will happen next Sunday, May 17th. And please check in your Community Matters for links to some important documents that you can read ahead of time. You'll find the annual report. You'll find the voting list, so make sure you're on it. I also want to say that if you're, for some reason, not on it yet, you're still more than welcome to join us for the meeting. We hope you do. You'll find the warrant for the meeting, which is essentially the agenda calling us to vote, and minutes from last October's meeting. And finally, the provisional budget that Callie presented at the budget meeting last week. And if you weren't there, we'll be voting on a 4-month provisional budget because we live in such uncertain times, and that's the recommendation of the UUA. We will revisit it in October when hopefully we'll know a little more going forward. And then the talent auction, which had to be postponed, is now going to be online on May 31st. I think there might still be a day or two to get donations in if you haven't already. So think about things that maybe will work in these times of staying at home, or that can happen at a time when it's safe to meet in somewhat larger groups than those just in our homes. Finally, I want to, in terms of the upcoming events, I want to alert you to a series that Jackie Clement will be offering called Spirituality in Uncertain Times. This will explore how we deal with fear and uncertainty. It's a 4-session series, and folks are encouraged to sign up for the entire series of all 4 sessions. It's limited to 10 people, so sign up soon. There is a waiting list as well. Jackie will consider possibly doing another session of it if there's enough interest. And in your Community Matters, you will find a link to the sign-up list. Finally, I alert you also to some podcasts that the Racial Justice Action Committee is recommending. I want to end by saying, be sure you look in your the version of Community Matters that is in your email. I find that when I print it out, some of the bottom gets cut off, so you won't find all those links from a printed version. And of course, it's easier to go to the links if you're online anyway. So again, welcome. I'm really looking forward to seeing all of you in our virtual coffee hour after the service. Let us begin.
Hi, I'm Lori Grant, the clerk. First, the voting list is now available on our website as well as posted at the church. I am notifying you, the members of First Church Unitarian, that you are lawfully entitled to vote in its affairs to meet on a Zoom call. The link will be provided. After church services on May 17th, 2020 at 11:30 a.m. or immediately following the Sunday service, whichever is later, to act on the following articles. First, to review and accept minutes from the October 20th, 2019 warranted meeting. Second, to hear and act upon the annual report. Third, to elect officers of the church, nominating committee members, and delegates to the UUA General Assembly, June 2020. Fourth, to act upon the provisional budget from July 2020 through October 2020. Fifth, to approve the renewal of the Green Sanctuary Task Force. Sixth, to authorize the treasurer to borrow money on behalf of the church. Seventh, to conduct any other business which may lawfully come before said meeting. That's it. Stay safe. I'll see you soon. Bye.
We're going to try something new today. We're going to sing a hymn together. I'm going to play hymn number 357. It's Bright Morning Stars. And I'm going to sing along, and you are welcome to sing along. We're going to do the first 3 verses. So if you have a hymnal at home, you can use it. And let's try.
Molly, I'll go ahead and display the song while you're playing.
Oh, okay. Mike will display the song.
Hey,
Natalie, mommy is working right
do
now.
we have a boat?
Ready? Bright morning stars are rising. Bright morning stars are rising. Bright morning stars are rising. Day is unreal in our soul. Oh, where are our dear mothers? Oh, where are our dear mothers? Oh, where are our dear mothers? Day is unreal in my soul. They are sowing seeds of gladness. They are sowing seeds of gladness. They are sowing seeds of gladness. There is a ring in my soul.
This morning's call to worship. For all the mothers and mother figures, the grandmothers, aunts, and extended family members who mother, the soon-to-be mothers, the wish they were mothers, the never wanted to be mothers, the it's complicated mothers, the birth mothers, foster mothers, adopted mothers, stepmothers, the used to be dad mothers, and more than one mom mothers, the single mothers, separated mothers, stay-at-home mothers, unhoused mothers, the grieving mothers, those who grieve their mothers, and those whose grief is complex, for all the communities that mother, and for all who depend on the Great Mother, you are held and beloved. Let us worship. This is a time where we light our chalice, and if you have a chalice or a candle at home, I invite you to light it now. I'm going to light one here. And if you wish, you may say the words of our covenant. Love is the spirit of this church, and service its law. This is our great covenant, to speak the truth in peace. This is our great covenant, to dwell together in peace, to seek the truth in love, and to help one another. Sorry about that. I got caught up in lighting it. Good morning. Welcome on this Mother's Day Sunday. Thank you so much for tuning in. And we're very aware that Mother's Day is a mixed day. For some people, it's an uncomplicated and joyous day, and for other people, it's far more complicated. So I'm thinking of you all today. I want to thank, as always, Mike Pillman for helping us out with our technical side of things. It's been a challenging morning. The internet is not being kind to us. But Mike has been great, as always. Thank you, Molly, for the original music, for the gathering video, and for singing for us. I hope some of you enjoyed singing along at home. I know we miss singing, so I hope you took advantage of that chance. It's good for you to sing. Thank you to Lynn Courtney for doing our Community Matters. And I should say, I haven't said this on these videos yet, thank you to Chris Ursuline for putting together the Community Matters for us as a volunteer. Chris, you've been great, and thank you so much. And thank you to our clerk, Lori Grant, for the reading of the warrant. It must be done. So here we are. It's good as always to be together. And I too look forward to seeing you after the service for our Zoom meeting, Joys and Concerns and Fellowship. And right now, I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to our Director of Religious Education, Vicki Merriam, and she will do our time for all ages this morning when she is ready.
Please unmute for us, Vicki.
Oh.
There you go. Nice to be here. Wish I could see you. Today I have a story. It's not necessarily about mothers, but it reminds us of an essential part of mothering and our orange promise as well, which is offer fair and kind treatment to all. And who better to be kind to than our mothers and those who have mothered us, especially today. So there it is. Now, Henry Chu, this is called Henry and the Kite Dragon by Bruce Edward Hall. Henry Chu was 8 years old. He lived in Chinatown in New York City. Chinatown is very small, just 3 tiny streets, all narrow and crooked like a village in China would be. His family and friends all lived in an apartment there. Henry's building was the tallest one, and from the roof, he could see all the way down to the next neighborhood, which was called Little Italy. It's only like a block away. Henry's favorite thing to do was fly kites from the roofs of Chinatown. Mr. Chin, who made the biggest, prettiest, highest flying, best kites in the whole wide world, lived on the top floor of Henry's building. Everyone called him grandfather, a sign of respect for his age. He would climb the stairs to the roof to fly one of his famous kites. Henry and his friends liked to help Grandfather Chin make the kites. They would make them from all sorts of things they found around, good recycled stuff like packing crates, cardboard, newspaper, and then they painted them beautiful colors and glued on glittery foil. Then they would fly them from the roof on breezy, sunny days. Grandfather Chin was also a great kite flyer, making them do swoops and swirls and loop-the-loops and reverse curls and all sorts of things. Sometimes they seemed alive. One day our kite flew over the park in Little Italy, a block away. Some pigeons flew near and were scared off when Grandfather Chin made the kite chase the birds. The pigeons flew off. But the kite was spotted by a kid named Tony who lived in Little Italy. He and his friends threw rocks at the kite and brought them down and smashed it and jumped on it and tore it up. They were very angry. They shook their fists at Henry and his friends from Chinatown. They were always making trouble for Henry and his friends, which was why they never went to the park when Tony and his friends were there. But Grandfather Chin and the kids kept making kites and flying them. One day when they flew another kite, more pigeons flew by and the kite raced after them, scaring them away. Again, Tony and his friends dragged down the kites and smashed them up completely. Henry and his friends wanted to go and fight Tony in the park, but Grandfather Chin had a better idea. Soon, all the Chinatown friends gathered in Grandfather Chin's apartment. They made the biggest, most amazing kite ever. Grandfather, and it was like a dragon. Grandfather Chin told them to get work making it. And it had long streamers for a tail and in claws. It was beautiful. It took everyone to carry it to the roof. It was so big. They thought it was so big and beautiful, no one would be able to harm it. As it flew, more pigeons went by, but before they could be chased away, Tony and his friends started throwing rocks again. Henry and his friends couldn't believe it. They were so mad, they raced down the stairs from the roof and all the way over to Little Italy and confronted Tony and his friends in the park there. First, they just stood staring at each other, very angry, both of them. Then they started yelling and calling each other names. They threatened each other and told them each to get out of the park. They were all lined up, breathing hard, getting ready to fight, when all of a sudden, a shadow went across and blotted out the sun. They all looked up. It was the dragon kite flying over them. Grandfather Chin was making it dance in slow curves. Everybody stopped to watch. And then one pigeon flew by. The dragon went after it and Tony screamed, "Stop it, that's my pigeon." Henry was puzzled. Tony shouted that in Little Italy, people kept pet homing pigeons in cages on their roofs. He told everyone that the kites scared the pigeons, and sometimes they flew away and never came back home. Tony and his friends loved their pigeons, and it made them sad when their pets didn't come back. Henry and his friends didn't know what to say. They had no idea. They all just stood there. Then Henry and Tony and all the kids ran over to Grandfather Chin, up the stairs and onto the roof, shouting, "Stop, stop," the whole time. Grandfather Chin at first didn't know what was going on, and then they told him how the pigeons were actually pets. And he understood, and he pulled the dragon back in. And the pigeon that had been scared flew back home to his own cage. When Tony and his friends looked around, they were amazed at the beauty of the homemade kites. They apologized for destroying them. And Henry and his friends apologized for scaring the pigeons. And then they had a great idea. They decided that Henry and Grandfather Chin and the kids could fly the kites on mornings each day, and that Tony and his friends would fly their pigeons in the afternoon, so that never would they have to be frightened by the kites. And then they discovered that they could actually go to the park together and play. They had never done this before, but now they would all share the neighborhood park. The next kite Grandfather Chin and the kids made was big and shiny and shimmery. It was a giant pigeon. Everyone in the park loved it. And that's our story for today. And I see we have our Hammer family waiting. You guys ready?
We are. Good morning.
Good morning.
My
How
dear.
are you?
Good.
It's nice to see you. We just saw each other on Wednesday too.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're all dressed up, Riley. You look nice. How come you're all dressed up?
I just want to be.
Yeah, cool. Well, you are too, right, Maddie? Got your hair
Yeah.
done differently. How are
Kind of.
you?
I was playing horsey with Liza, so I had it like over to the side like a mane.
So how are you? Good?
Good.
Do you have something you'd like to share?
I have a joke for you.
Go ahead.
Why is talking to cows a waste of time?
Because they don't talk back?
Whatever you say goes in one ear and comes out the other.
That would be kind of weird though, huh?
Right.
Very nice. How about you, Riley? Anything you want to share?
Eliza has one especially for Reverend Lara.
Okay, Reverend Lara, here's a joke especially for you.
You ready to go?
What's a horse's favorite color?
I don't know. What's a horse's favorite color?
Navy blue.
Navy blue.
That's good. Thank you, Eliza.
Very nice. How about you, Riley? Nothing today or?
He has a riddle, but he can't remember it.
Well, okay. Maybe on Wednesday when we get together, you'll remember it.
What has a head, one head, 4 legs, and 1 foot? What has 1 head, 4 legs, and only 1 foot?
I don't know. I was thinking a ruler, but rulers don't have any legs.
A bed.
Oh, okay. I had to picture the bed for a minute. Yep, very good. What'd you guys do for Mother's Day today? Anything?
Not yet.
You're going to though?
Maybe. I don't know.
Okay. Did you make something for your mother?
I haven't yet. Everybody else has.
Or, you know, like, go ahead.
I made 2 little bags and a spoon, which I'm still working on.
Great. The best thing you can give your mother? What do you think?
A hug.
Hugs. Hugs, I think, are what we like the best. And based on our story today, you can be kind, huh? Try to help out a little.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Anything else? And I don't see anyone else has come on. So I'll see you guys Wednesday at 3 when we have our little group meeting. Good.
Okay.
I'm looking forward to it. Bye.
Bye. Bye.
Bye, everybody.
Thank you, Vicki. Thank you, kids. Good to see you. And happy Mother's Day to Tatum. among our many wonderful FCU mothers. So this is the time for our offering. And you can see, hopefully behind me on this screen, the address for the church if you want to send in a check, either for a loose plate offering, like as though the plate were going around, or you can also send in any sort of pledge payments as well. And that's the address there, 19 Foster Street in Littleton. Or you can go to the website, fculittle.org. You see it there. There is a donate now button at the top right of that webpage. And we'll be sending more information about that around soon. But for now, those are the ways to do it. And I'm going to get off the screen in a moment so you can see and hear our offertory. It's a special treat this week. Molly, our wonderful music director, put together. She had recordings of the choir members singing parts, and she put them together, and they're singing together virtually, and it's so amazing. So enjoy that now. This morning's offering will be given and received in grateful appreciation.
May your life be as a song, resounding with the dawn, to sing with the light, and softly serenade the stars, ever dancing circles in the night. May your life be as a song, resounding with the dawn, to sing with the light, and softly serenade the stars, ever dancing circles in the night. May your life be as a song, resounding with the dawn, to sing with the light, and softly serenade the stars, ever dancing circles in the night, ever dancing circles in the night. Do, 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 do,
Thank you so much, choir and Molly. That was really beautiful. It's such a treat when you are able to put those together. I'm sure it's a lot of work. Thank you so much for doing that. Mother's Day. See, I have these lovely flowers behind me. They were actually given to me, interestingly enough, by an old friend from Veterans for Peace, a man actually. But he gives me mothering love. And so today I wanted to remember all those people, biological mothers or not, who offer us mothering love. And that's really at the heart of my homily today. I'm very aware, as I said before, that Mother's Day is not always the simple or uncomplicated day that Hallmark would make it out to be. It can be complicated for all sorts of reasons. We heard some of those reasons in the call to worship, the words of Lindasusan, Ulrich. And there are other reasons it can be complicated too that weren't mentioned. And I won't go into all those reasons, but we're very aware that this can be a complicated day. It can be a touchy day. But I don't want to knock Mother's Day altogether. I think it can be a wonderful day to remember the mothering that we have received from sometimes our mothers and sometimes other people, and sometimes both if we're lucky. It can be a day to honor the mothering we have done to biological children, adopted children, to all sorts of children or people that we might have mothered. And so I want to lift that up today, especially. The most important thing for me about Mother's Day, from my point of view, is I don't want us to beat ourselves up, either for feeling like we weren't the ideal mother, or for those of us adult children for feeling like we aren't the best adult children to our mothers or mothering people. Life is filled with complications. So I don't want to, don't want us to beat ourselves up, but Mother's Day is a nice chance to honor the mothers in our lives and do something special for them if we can. Complicated this year, of course, with the pandemic. So the heart of Mother's Day to me is that chance to offer your unconditional nurturing to someone else, to another human being, caring deeply for another human being. And this reminds me of one of my favorite stories actually in the Hebrew scriptures, and one of my favorite stories actually in any scripture of the world's religions. It stands out for me, and that is the book of Ruth. It's actually a very short book, only 4 chapters. And it's different because it's in the Hebrew scriptures where we often have God acting in ways, either blessing people or smiting people or doing things, showing power. This story doesn't have God as a character in it. Some of the people speak of God, but God isn't directly acting in the story. So it's a very humanistic story for the Hebrew scriptures, which I find interesting. So a really quick summary of the story in the book of Ruth. So you have Naomi and her family in Bethlehem in the land of Israel, and there's a famine. And so they find themselves needing to move to seek food elsewhere, to try life somewhere else. And so they go to the relatively nearby land, but far enough away for there not to be the famine. They go to Moab. And Naomi and her husband and her sons get there. And then her husband dies, and we don't know why. It doesn't say why, but he dies. Luckily, her sons are able to marry Moabite women. Presumably, they converted to Judaism. It doesn't go into that, but by Jewish law, they would have to have. So they marry Moabite women. Naomi's sons marry Ruth, of course, and Orpah, not to be confused with Oprah, Orpah. So her sons marry these converted Jewish women, these Moabite women. And then Naomi's sons die. And we also don't know exactly why they died. The story is clearly really about the women and what they do. So now we have 3 widowed women in Moab. And Naomi says to her daughters-in-law, Naomi says to them, you should really go back to your biological mothers now that my sons have died, your husbands have died, and you can start again from there. That's really what you should do. And Naomi is going to go back to Israel, to Bethlehem and her people. So at least she'll be with her people now that her biological family is gone. And she wants what's best for her daughters-in-law, and she thinks that's what will be best. And the daughters-in-law love Naomi. Naomi's clearly very dear in the story, and they don't really want to leave her. And they cry and they hug her. But Naomi really encourages them. So Orpah reluctantly agrees and goes back to her biological mother. But Ruth does not. And there's a very famous passage where Ruth clings to her mother-in-law, Naomi. And Ruth says, "Don't urge me to leave you or to turn back from you. Where you go, I will go, and where you stay, I will stay. Your people will be my people, and your God, my God. Where you die, I will die, and there I will be buried. May the Lord deal with me, be it ever so severely, if anything but death separates me from you." Those are very passionate words, and some people have read Naomi and Ruth to be a couple. I'm going to put in my background here picture. I actually have this picture in my office, and you'll see there on my, I did it right this time. That's Orpah, and she's reluctantly going to go back. But here we have, now I'm doing it wrong. Right here. Here we have Naomi and Ruth. And, you know, it's a passionate embrace. And so some people have taken them to be a couple, but I think that's anachronistic. I think the story is really, Ruth and Naomi are not a couple in my opinion. Ruth and Naomi just passionately love each other as a chosen mother and a chosen daughter. But the passion of this story reminds me, as an aside, I'm going to put my screen back. Sorry for this. The story reminds me, as an aside, of, you know, sometimes things with mothers get a little bit uncomfortable. And that's why we have the Oedipus complex and that other Freudian stuff. By the way, you know what a Freudian slip is, right? A Freudian slip, that's when you say one thing, but you mean your mother. Right. Okay, that's your joke for the day. Back to Ruth and Naomi. So Ruth does stay with Naomi and goes to Bethlehem with her. And then she eventually marries a wonderful man named Boaz, who happens to be a blood relative of Naomi's deceased husband. And so everything is redeemed. And the interesting part for me is that the story ends, it's very happy. Boaz is a sweet character. And Boaz and Ruth have a child. And everyone rejoices. They have a son, Obed. But what's so fascinating is that the people in the story rejoice with them. And they don't say, oh, Ruth and Boaz have a child. They say, Ruth and Naomi have a son. Ruth and Naomi have a son. How wonderful. So it's one of those stories where a chosen family transcends biology. And so I think of it today. Motherhood isn't about biological destiny. Not really. For me, motherhood is about choice. You have to choose to become a mother. Some of us women who have never given birth have chosen to become mothers. Maybe we've adopted a child and are full mothers through that. Perhaps we've taken on the tasks of motherhood for our grandchildren or nieces or nephews. Perhaps we've taken on stepmothering. Perhaps we've chosen to become second mothers to a child not biologically related to us or not our own child. But even for those of you watching who have given birth, in my opinion, you still chose to become a mother. You might not have chosen to become pregnant. That might have happened without your wanting it to, or possibly even without your consent. But if you were able to make the choice to keep the child and to nurture the child, then you chose to be a mother to another human being. And today we honor that choice. Thank you to all of you who have been able to choose motherhood for another human being, to choose to mother and nurture another human being. Motherly love is a wonderful thing. There's a Spanish proverb that says, an ounce of mother is worth a ton of priest. And isn't that the truth? So there are other choices on Mother's Day as well. You can choose to become a mother, to bestow on someone your nurturing and motherly love. But there's also the choice to accept the motherly love of someone, be it your own biological or adoptive mother or not, right? It's chosen family, as they say. And Naomi is Ruth's chosen family, and Ruth is Naomi's chosen family too. So today we celebrate chosen love. In a moment, we're going to show a video that I was able to put together with photos that you shared with me, photos that show people who gave you motherly love, and photos of yourself giving someone motherly love. And I want to thank you for sharing with me and now with us those precious photos. They're really fun to see. Some of you in your email sending me the photos also told me a little bit about people who mothered you and some of the harder stories for Mother's Day as well. And so I'm holding you all in my heart today. I'm thinking of you all. There's no such thing as a perfect mother. There's no such thing as perfect parenting or nurturing. And I give heartfelt thanks to each and every one of you today who tried, even though we all fall short. As Unitarian Universalist minister Judy Wells has written, let us love those who mothered us, for what we can love in them, and honor them the best we can, flawed as we are too. Let us say thank you, each in our own way. Today, let us thank all those who have bestowed on us their motherly love. Blessed be, and amen. Now I hope you will enjoy this video.
When I was just a child, I watched my mother as she smiled, and I could see that she was proud of me. Not for only what I'd done, or all the things I would become, not the things I would grow up to be. She loved me just for who I was, not when or if, was just because I was her kid, her love was guaranteed. Oh, and on my mom I could depend. She was my greatest fan, my friend, and it's still true from then till now and until the end. Oh, I wanna sing a song for you, for all the things you've done to get me through. And though you have a day, I want the world to hear and see that every day is Mother's Day to me. Through childhood days to teenage years, you were right there to wipe my tears. Cuts and scrapes were covered up in love. And if I was under attack, you were right there, you had my back. I swear you were sent straight from up above. You were right there to cheer me on, and took the time to teach me right from wrong, and brush away all of my little fears. Oh, and even when we disagree, you still work hard to help me see that everything is not as it appears. Oh, I wanna sing a song for you, for all the things you've done to get me through. And though you have a day, I want the world to hear and see that every day is Mother's Day to me. Yeah, I wanna sing a song for you, for all the things you've done to get me through. And though you have a day, I want the world to hear and see that every day is Mother's Day to me. Yeah, every day is Mother's Day to me. Just a child, I watched my mother as she smiled, and I could see that she was proud of me. Not for only what I'd done, or all the things I would become, not the things I would grow up to be. She loved me just for who I was, not when or if, was just because I was her kid, her love was guaranteed. Oh, and on my mom I could depend. She was my greatest fan, my friend, and it's still true from then till now and until the end. Oh, I wanna sing a song for you, for all the things you've done to get me through. And though you have a day, I want the world to hear and see that every day is Mother's Day to me. Through childhood days to teenage years, you were right there to wipe my tears. Cuts and scrapes were covered up in love. And if I was under attack, you were right there, you had my back. I swear you were sent straight from up above. You were right there to cheer me on and took the time to teach me right from wrong and brush away all of my little fears. Oh, and even when we disagree, you still work hard to help me see that everything is not as it appears. Oh, I wanna sing a song for you, for all the things you've done to get me through. And though you have a day, I want the world to hear and see that every day is Mother's Day to me. Yeah, I wanna sing a song for you, for all the things you've done to get me through. And though you have a day, I want the world to hear and see that every day is Mother's Day to me. Yeah, every day is Mother's Day to me. A child, I watched my mother as she smiled, and I could see that she was proud of me. Not for only what I'd done, or all the things I would become, not the things I would grow up to be. She loved me just for who I was, not when or if, was just because I was her kid, her love was guaranteed. And on my mom I could depend. She was my greatest fan, my friend, and it's still true from then till now and until the end. Oh, I wanna sing a song for you, for all the things you've done to get me through. And though you have a day, I want the world to hear and see that every day is Mother's Day to me. Through childhood days to teenage years, you were right there to wipe my tears. Cuts and scrapes were covered up in love. And if I was under attack, you were right there, you had my back. I swear you were sent straight from up above. You were right there to cheer me on and took the time to teach me right from wrong and brush away all of my little fears. Oh, and even when we disagree, you still work hard to help me see that everything is not as it appears. Oh, I wanna sing a song for you, for all the things you've done to get me through. And though you have a day, I want the world to hear and see that every day is Mother's Day to me. Yeah, I wanna sing a song for you, for all the things you've done to get me through. And though you have a day, I want the world to hear and see that every day is Mother's Day to me. Yeah, every day is Mother's Day to me.
Bringing me dreams of that wonderful mother of mine. The birds never sing, but a message they bring of that wonderful mother of mine. Just to bring back the time that was so sweet to me, to bring back the days when I sat on her knee. You are a wonderful mother, dear old mother of mine. You'll hold a spot down deep in my heart till the stars no longer shine. Your soul shall live on forever, on through the fields of time, for there'll never be another to me like that wonderful mother of mine. You are a wonderful mother, dear old mother of mine. You'll hold a spot down deep in my heart till the
I hope you enjoyed seeing that. It was really a pleasure to look at all those photos. Thank you again. It's the time for our benediction. So again, as is our tradition, we hold hands in a circle and we're going to virtually do that. If there's somebody there with you that you can hold hands with safely, please do. Otherwise, please put together your own hands so you feel that warmth. And know that someday we will be able to do this again. Until then, feel that warmth. Picture those people in that circle, some of those wonderful people, as we have our benediction. Friends, every day is a day to celebrate nurturing unconditional love. What is there better in this life than unconditional love, than loving and caring for others, giving that love, receiving that love? It's as good as it gets. I thank you all for being the wonderful people I know you to be, for caring about others, for caring about this world. May we give this world our own love too. Happy Mother's Day. Blessed be, and amen. Go in peace.